They're charming, they're magnetic, they fool us, they suck us in. But maybe, just maybe, there's 7 shocking body language clues that reveal that there's a narcissist among us. And I'm going to reveal them to you in this video. All right. They're charming, they're magnetic, but wait, what does their body language reveal? Today, we're diving into the secret world of narcissistic body language, exposing the hidden clues that tell us that maybe you're dealing with a narcissist and unmasking their hidden body language. So, did you know, of course, something like 70% of our language, what we actually communicate, is actually body language, not just the words coming out of our mouth. And so I want to unlock the secrets today. So welcome to another episode where we decipher the world of dealing with toxic people in a powerful way, and where I help you shift that dynamic so that you can become the most powerful one in dealing with the high conflict people in your life. And if you're new here, I'm so glad that you're here. I'm Rebecca Zung. I am a negotiation and high conflict expert. I'm also an attorney. I've written a best-selling book, a national bestseller, Slay the Bully, How to Negotiate with a Narcissist and Win. And I invite you to subscribe to this channel and hit that notification bell so that you can be caught up every single time and learn how to shift that power dynamic too. And for those of you who are coming back, welcome back. It is time in this episode where we decipher the unspoken, the unwinding the threats of narcissists, so that you know the nonverbal cues and reveal the concealed emotions and thoughts that narcissists don't want you to know. They put on this mask, right? And they make themselves look perfect for you at the beginning. They get you into their web, and then they start to make your life a living hell. We're going to look into the physical and the other kinds of cues that they may give that they don't necessarily want you to know, right? Signs that you may overlook unless you know what they are. So remember that body language, just like any language, has its own sort of dialects in different countries and different cultures. So I do want to make sure we put that into, I mentioned that. And, sometimes things can be inadvertent. If I mention sort of a scratching of the head, sometimes, you actually might just have an itch on your head. So you need to kind of approach some of these things with a little bit of an open mind. And sometimes it can be just, you have to take things as a whole, right? So the first one is pursed lips. When you kind of flatten your lips together like this, especially if it's in response to a question, like that. And where you can see a really good example of this was when Lance Armstrong was asked if he had been doping. Right away, he gestured like, and you knew that he was about to lie, because he was, he didn't really want to answer. And a lot of times when we're withholding and we don't really want to have to answer, and, even narcissists, they'll just purse their lips for a quick moment, and you'll see that flatlining, that pursing of the lips. And even if it's just for a split second, it's just because they don't want to have to answer. They're literally trying to hold something in. So whether it's a lie, like when Lance Armstrong was quizzed about whether he was doping, or it's a subtle attempt for concealing some disdain, it's that little sign that speaks volumes about what's happening beneath the surface. And remember, context is key. One little signal alone doesn't necessarily define a narcissist, but it could mean that somebody is lying. Okay. Another one is sudden distancing behavior. So suddenly, especially, if you see you're in a negotiation or you're having a conversation with somebody and you see somebody immediately step back. And a good example of this was it with Russell Crowe in his BBC radio interview, where he was retreating, and he abruptly distanced himself from the situation. They were poking and nagging at him about his vulnerabilities, and he immediately took off. So be aware of those who immediately remove themselves, physically remove themselves, or it could be just a slouching, sitting back because they just want to physically be back away from that situation. The going gets tough. It may be a defensive mechanism worth exploring. Somebody just, doesn't want to have the conversation anymore. I'm not saying that Russell Crowe is necessarily a narcissist, but if somebody's, distancing themselves, they don't want to have that conversation, they don't want to be poked at because of their vulnerabilities, that's, a sign that, something's going on. A red flag might be, should go up maybe for you. Increased blink rates. Britney Spears interview, right before she went in, her conservatorship took place. And again, I'm not saying that she's a narcissist. I'm saying that, there was something going on for her that she didn't want to have to reveal. And, she was asked about things that were going on in her life. She was facing tough questions right at that time, and her blink rate noticeably increased. And it's a common response to stress, and it's a subconscious act of not wanting to reveal something. And so you're kind of like shutting out stimuli that's happening out here, going within in a way. So it's not necessarily something bad happening, but it could indicate something more manipulative going on in certain contexts. So again, you want to take all of these things together, and it could mean something. The next sign is avoiding eye contact. So in this particular instance, Kanye West was, the notorious Kanye West was supremely confident most of the time. But in this particular instance, he was in an interview and he's delving into there's sensitive topics. And all of a sudden, he's like refusing to have any eye contact with his interviewer. Right. So, when you look at him and, Mr. Confident refused to have any eye contact. And you can see this many times in other interviews too. Now, again, this is something where, if there's different cultures, some cultures, eye contact actually is a sign of disrespect. So, you have to take into account what culture you're looking at too. Right. So the next one is fidgeting. And, I've seen this in my own practice where somebody starts fidgeting during a deposition, or fidgeting on the stand, or fidgeting in a negotiation of some sort. Somebody starts to move around. They start fidgeting, playing with their hair. They start playing with their hands or something. It can be a sign that they're nervous. It could be a sign that they're cold too, but it could be a sign that they're nervous, so you can look at, different interviews, such as when, Robert Pattinson was, uh, frequently playing with his hair and wardrobe adjustments during the twilight days. Unsettled demeanor, discomfort, can just mean something, right? Stiffening of the body is the next one. Sudden stiffening. You can see somebody stiffen up when a question is asked, or when a situation happens that they don't like, a rigid posture. So Kristen Stewart, during certain interviews, when she was asked about her personal life, especially, there were certain instances where things were going on in her life that she didn't like, right? You could see her stiffen up. So sudden change in voice pitch, where somebody's voice is in, one pitch, and then all of a sudden it goes to another pitch. This happens especially with guys a lot of times, where they are in one pitch and then it goes up to another pitch. There's several other indications, like touching of their face, like the higher their face, they touch on their face. Sometimes that means something. Obviously some sweating, that can mean something, so there's a number of different things that can denote behaviors of discomfort, suddenly crossing of arms, that can mean something as well, but obviously remember that all of these can also be indicators of, maybe just habits that people have, quirks that people have, that sort of thing. But just take them also in context together, because they can also mean something. Incongruent behavior can mean something as well. Somebody is like, absolutely, meaning like they're saying yes, but their body is saying no. They're facing this way, toward the door, but supposed to be in a conversation with you. That's incongruent behavior. Things like that. There's a whole bunch of different things that you can be looking at, clues that reveal that something is happening that may be different than what somebody is actually saying to you. So body language can mean that there's a narcissist going on, or somebody's lying to you. Somebody asks you a question and then they're interrupting you, right? They're not listening to you. They're not waiting around to hear the rest of the conversation. They're just looking up. So I'd love to know which of these you guys have seen. Put that in the comments below. And if you are dealing with a narcissist, make sure you get the support and help that you need. I have a free private Facebook group, Narcissist Negotiators with Rebecca Zung. And I have a free Disarm the Narc phrases, free phrases that you can get at disarmthenarc.com. Make sure you get those disarmthenarc.com phrases that you can use in emails, text messages, conversations. They will definitely help you as well. And if you need additional support and help through therapy and you don't have access to it, betterhelp.com/Rebecca Zung to get that, because I want you to have the help and support that you need as well. I don't want you to be out there in isolation. Narcissists make you feel destabilized. They make you feel like you are not yourself. They make you feel confused. And I don't want you to feel like you are alone in this. All right. So don't sit there feeling like you are alone. You have access to help and support and resources that you need and that you can trust. It's not just the things that they're saying. It's also this body language thing. I mean, if 70% of the things that they're doing and saying is actually body language, it can be extremely, extremely confusing. Take note of this and know, by the way, that you actually can engage in powerful body language. There's just little things that you can do that make yourself look more powerful, appear more powerful, even if you don't feel that way. You can use the steepling. That's, what a lot of powerful leaders do. Obama, Oprah, things like that. People like that, they use steepling to make themselves appear more powerful. There's always, the superhero stance. You can do that even before you walk into a room. It makes you feel more powerful. It actually puts oxygen into your lungs and opens them up and gives you more power. It gives you a feeling of power. There's a reason why they call that the superhero stance, by the way. There's just some things that you can do also to make yourself appear more powerful. No slouching for you. Go in, use their name, be completely at ease and at peace when you are with them. Do not ever let them see you sweat. I always say, cry in your pillow, scream in your shower. Don't ever let them see you sweat. And remember, they're going to leak their cues. The more out of integrity they are, the more it's going to come out. Toxic people will end up being their own worst enemy. They will end up self-destructing, right? So just don't keep them around. Have your boundaries. And remember, there is a way out for you, and you will be able to find it. And we're here to help you. So, and they will reveal themselves, right? So the next video that I want you to watch is cracking the narcissist fear code, because you can crack that narcissist fear code, right? And if you like this video, give it a like, give it a share, and make sure other people can watch it, can share it as well, so that they can be clued in on what the narcissist body language cues are as well. And if you haven't subscribed to this channel, make sure you do that now. Subscribe, hit that notification bell, and then I will see you in that next video, cracking the narcissist fear code. Remember that today is a great day to start negotiating your best life, and I will see you in that next video.